Now we're going to be looking at part 3 of our considerations. It's Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 12, verses 7 to 10. The Corinthians caused Paul more trouble than everybody else put together. But he loved them, and he worked with them. They were enthusiastic. They didn't quite go in the right direction all the time. And so here he's defending his apostolate, because there were guys coming there with their letters of recommendation. This man, did 9 healings in the last place he was at, and he preached wonderfully. He's got Paul says, you're my letter of recommendation. I don't need another one. And so now he's going to say, he's going to start talking about this, you see. And he's going to tell him, he's driven to this. I've got to win him back, So he starts talking about his own revelations and so forth. But it's in the context of this big, unruly crowd up in Corinth, whom he loves immensely. I've told you before, it's a double port town. It's a town between, it's on an isthmus, between 2 bodies of water. And either when there was a canal, they went on the canal. If they'd done it, they pulled them across with horses on logs, rolled the boat from one body of water to the other. So it's a double port town. In fact, if you said si Corintizi in those days, you lived like a Corinthian, that was quite an insult, really. You act like you come from Las Vegas or something like that. It's not a compliment. But anyway, so he says, okay, but if I'm going to start reading the text now. Although if I should wish to boast, I would not be foolish, for I'd be telling the truth. But I refrain, so that no one may think more of me than what he sees in me or hears from me, because of the abundance of the revelations. Therefore, that I might not become too elated, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, an angel of Satan to beat me, to keep me from being too elated. Probably sick. He was just sick and exhausted, wanting to have energy. Maybe he had a speech impediment, or the way he talks later on, it might have been his eyes, might have been one of those recurring fevers you often get in the Mediterranean. He didn't have full strength all the time. And so, and that's this thorn of Satan. You see? Now, that I might not become too elated, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, an angel of Satan, to beat me, to keep me from being too elated. Now, the angel of Satan is not trying to keep him from being too elated. God is letting Satan do that to keep Paul humble. Oh my gosh, he's doing miracles all day. He's seeing thousands of people converted. And he's a human being. Humble, great, mystic, one of the great saints of all time. But, occupational hazard. You can get too popular. And so, God did him a favor. He didn't think it was a favor. 3 times I begged the Lord about this, that it might leave me. But he said to me, you see, my grace is enough. For power is rendered perfect. How do they translate? Is made perfect, yes, in weakness. What power? God's power. Not my power. The weaker I am, the worse I am to do anything. But if being sick or being whatever, I can still work. It's the power of God, and it's finding its perfection, because everybody knows it can't be this guy doing this stuff. He doesn't have it. And besides that, he's sick or whatever. That was a gift of God from Paul, because he said, Paul, you're going to be the teacher of all the nations. You're going to write letters that will be part of the Bible, of the church, for all time. So I don't want you getting a big head. I'm going to let Satan beat you up once in a while, one way or another. Now, we know this from other saints, huh? From the way he talks later on, you know, when he said, well, you would have torn your eyes out to help me. I think it's just a Semitic phrase. It doesn't mean there was something wrong with his eyes. But we don't know what was wrong. But look at the cure of Ars. Cure of Ars beat him up, got beat up by Satan almost every night. Because he was sitting like 16 hours in the confessional and doing miracles of grace. Miracles. Thousands of people being changed, being healed, being brought back to God. Satan not the least bit happy, and God let him beat up the cure so he'd stay humble. Funny, isn't it, huh? Every other place you're a success, everybody claps. When you're a success in this business, people don't like you, and Satan beats you up. You know? But it's okay. So, you see, my grace is sufficient for you because the dynamis, the power, is made perfect in weakness. That is what power? That's the power of the cross. And it's made perfect, which is such a word, huh? The dynamis reaches its goal, its perfection in that sense. You see, in asthenia, in weakness. When a man is humble, a woman is humble, look at Mother Teresa. You know, she was old and tired, and, you know, she had a great prayer life, but only God could appreciate it. Once a reporter asked her, Mother Teresa, what is it like to have deep experiences of God in prayer? You know what her answer was? It has been so long, I have forgotten. She was living in darkness. And miracles were going on. Miracles of grace, miracles of healing, going on all around her. She wasn't the least bit impressed. Because she knew it was God. And because of the way that she was getting beat up, you know, she had no tickets on herself. Now where is she? Sitting right on God's lap. You see, this is the law of a successful apostolate. That's what they're saying here, you know. And so, I will rather boast most gladly of my weaknesses, in order that the dynamis of Christ, the power of Christ, may dwell with me. Epime, dwell upon me. This law of weakness and power is an essence of the Christian life. If we are going at this, you know, thinking we're going to do it, it's an illusion. When we give up on ourselves and keep trying, that's when things happen. I don't have it. I'm going to keep trying, but if I'm going to have any success, it's going to be because of you, God. Even success with my own life. Now, St. Augustine, as I already said, is considered the doctor of grace. He knows we cannot do anything without grace. And how does he know it? It was etched into his very being. He couldn't get over his addiction to sex. No matter what he did, he couldn't get over it. Until the Word of God came and broke him open and gave him the strength. That Word came, and what that Word said became a reality in his spirit and changed him. And so what's the moral of the story? Try hard. Make sure you pray every day. If you can, you get an hour of prayer. You see what's going on all around us. And we're God's favorites. Most of us were baptized as children. We have people coming to the Lord every day, called by Him, strengthened by Him, given peace by Him. We have to help the whole world. That's why the message is, give yourself to the Lord and then work on your relationships with one another so that you have a place to welcome others when things get really tough. You see? Well, We're not going to do it on our own. And so, I've tried and I failed. Then you're lucky. Then you're lucky. So then if something happens that is good, you won't be the least bit impressed. You won't think, well, you know, it's because I was good when I was 2, or because well, I really am quite smart, or no. You know it's God and not you. So that's what Paul is learning, you see. So I boast of my weaknesses so that the power of Christ, which is the power of the cross, it's the power of the word of the cross, dwell in me, change me. And I boast of that it's God. I can't do it. You know? And then you read that litany of it, a day and a half on the sea, you know, danger from the false brethren, stoned, left for dead, shipwrecked. You know, the other preachers were going around with lists of all their accomplishments. He healed 10 people in our town. He did this, he did that. Paul says, I'll tell you my great works. Shipwrecked, left a ship on afloat on the sea, stoned, left for dead, you know, betrayed by brethren, beaten, you know, with the 39 lashes, supposed to be 40, but they stop one short in case they don't go over, you know, just so they don't go over. Those are that's what I boast of. Sure, I've raised the dead. It's right there in the book of Acts. But that's God in me. So, therefore, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and constraints for the sake of Christ. And he had his share of them. You see? For when I am weak, then I'm strong. Because I'm not counting on myself. I've got nothing. Then, there's 2 lines that I want to read that are not in our text for this Sunday, but it's important. He says, after saying all that, he says, I've been foolish. Look at the way I've been talking. He's not going to change it, but, you know, you compelled me, for I ought to have been commended by you, instead of trying to commend myself. For I am in no way inferior to these super apostles, even though I am nothing. The other guys came, they're pretty flashy, great talkers, few miracles here and there, winning over the crowd, and a little easy on the moral demands, you know. That's the way to be popular. Oh my goodness. I remember in Rome, I was coming, it was during the great big charismatic conference. I think it was a 75 one. I forgot now what. No, it was the earlier one. Whatever. And I'm walking in St. Peter's. All these people come running up to me. Are you Father Francis? Yes. Oh, well. And then I saw they were looking for another Father Francis who's a healer. And I said, I'm not that Father Francis. Oh, thank you very much. Off they go. I thought, saved by the bell. Suppose they canonized me. So, you know, I mean, it's better off looking stupid. And I did look stupid. Anyway, that's what he's saying, see? I ought to have been commended by you. I didn't have to give you this list of all my accomplishments, which is that I've got a thorn in the flesh, I've been shipwrecked, and all the rest. See? I should be commended by you, but I'm nowhere. And then he gives the signs. The signs of an apostle were performed among you with all endurance, hypomone, all patience, all endurance, signs and wonders and mighty deeds. Those are the signs. Healing, miracle. They were done, you see, among you, but in all endurance. It's not a sideshow. So that's how Paul, you know, is trying to overcome the same thing, the rejection of prophecy.